Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries. Welcome to Babs's Bungalow. My name is Barbara, and me and the cat have gotten news from San Diego Comic-Con. It's not exactly the most surprising thing in the world, but it is what we all expected, thanks to leaks that were over a year old. This is the roster for the next round of DLC for Mortal Kombat 1 in the story expansion Khaos Reigns. Now, from what I've been able to gather from this, no video footage has been released yet as of me recording this. I don't think I'm going to be like posting that because you guys are going to be able to find that. But I just wanted to get a quick first impressions of this reveal before I went into it. So, this is a story expansion, so we're going to be getting 5 new chapters, all focused around 3 characters. Noob Saibot, Sector, and Cyrax. I can't believe I got my condiments mixed up. But you'll notice that the Borgs look a little bit different, and that's because it's been confirmed that the Borgs are female now, which normally I would not care about. Like, normally I wouldn't give a shit about it. You want female robots? Go right ahead, have female robots. And it would fit with the whole timey-wimey, shifty-wompy shit that's been going on more than turning Rain into a goddamn wizard, but Frost was right there, guys. Frost was literally right there to be turned into a playable character, and y'all just decided to give us condiments with tits. Well done, guys. I'm just hoping that, at least personality-wise, they're at least similar, but different enough that they can stand on their own. Because if it's literally just the Cyrax's Sector we know, but with boobs, or these are completely new characters like Rain and Tanya got turned into, I'm not super confident in the Borgs. But I hope for the best for these two, because they are fantastic, personally, as like concept characters. Cyber ninjas, hello. And of course we would be getting them in Mortal Kombat 1, because it's a whole reinvention of the whole timeline. Remember, we speed ran all of the games up until Armageddon in the original story, basically. So it would make sense for the Borgs to show up eventually as playable characters. I'm just personally disappointed that Frost isn't anywhere among here. Maybe we'll get her in more DLC, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Though, but these are just 2 of the 3 characters that will be probably included in this as part of the story. The third is the shadow in the room, Noob Saibot. Personally, I like Noob. It's nice to see that Noob is back and we're getting more Netherrealm influences in here, because, fun fact, even though Quan Chi is in the game, there is not a single denizen native to the Netherrealm in Mortal Kombat 1. Scorpion is no longer a Wraith, he is now Kuai Liang. Fuck you, Dominic, for that one. And Quan Chi, thanks to Liu Kang's new timeline, was an Outworlder before he got turned into a Netherrealm demon because he partially got his soul sucked. Noob Saibot, then, might be the very first true Netherrealm denizen playable in Mortal Kombat 1. Which, great! But why did it take so long? Like, again, with the changes to Scorpion being absolute bullshit and utterly irrelevant, the strange but kind of understandable move that you did with Quan Chi, but again, he's no longer Netherrealm, and then you don't have Moloch, you don't have Draman, which were 2 3D era characters that we've been looking for, some of us were hoping for. You don't have the likes of Shinnok, that's another Netherrealm character that we've been missing. You didn't turn anybody into a Netherrealm character, which I honestly would have expected at this point. It's like the Netherrealm just doesn't exist. It's like we're first hearing about it out of Quan Chi as DLC after Omni-Man. We didn't hear about the titular studio's realm until now, basically, or until Quan Chi. You get it. It's been way too long. And this is why, out of all of these, Noob Saibot is actually the one I personally am most excited for, because finally we get some Netherrealm influence. It felt weird not having anybody who is a denizen of the Netherrealm be on the roster, especially since the 2 that were denizens of the Netherrealm were retconned to not be in this timeline, because apparently Dominic doesn't like Hell. Fuck you, Hell's great. But let's now talk about guest characters, because oh my god, what the hell were they thinking? Look, I I like guest characters well enough. You know this by now. But we had a theme going in the last round of DLC. Violent superheroes, basically. Peacemaker, Homelander, Omni-Man. I mean, yeah, two of those are, one of those is a straight-out villain. One started out as a villain, and another is a member of the Suicide Squad. But still, comic books and violence. The only character that you could say fits this theming is Conan. And that's because Conan has a long history before they slapped Arnie's face here, which is the version that they're going for. I'm actually going to start with Conan because I think, personally, he is the best fit for Mortal Kombat in general out of everybody here. Because, big, buff dude with a giant sword. Sound familiar? This is basically going to be our Kotal. And, I mean, for crying out loud, we got a Conan skin for Kotal back in Mortal Kombat 11. So, him coming in, he's the guest I'm personally most excited for. And some fun trivia for you. He was a novella comic character first. In Weird Tales, in 1932, Conan made his debut. Yeah, almost 100 years ago, Conan was around. This makes him officially the oldest guest character in Mortal Kombat now, dethroning the Joker, who made his first debut in 1940. I don't know what exactly we could be expecting from moves or anything. This is way too early, but if he gets a prayer to Crom, that's all I ask for, because if you're going to turn this guy into your surrogate Kotal, he needs to have buffs in order to make him feel like Kotal. You know what I mean? We'll talk more about this guy in a little bit, because he's connected to something that sounds ripped right out of a conspiracy theory, but is completely true. I'll try to find proof of it later, because this was actually a thing that happened back in the days of MK11. Let's move over to Ghostface, though. This one stands out. Horror guests are one of the most popular types of guest characters for Mortal Kombat because of its horror roots. I mean, you literally have a spawn of hell over here. But Ghostface, ironically, feels weirdly out of place this time. If he had shown up even in Mortal Kombat 11, it might have made more sense than him showing up here, because he's here with a barbarian and a shape-shifting robot. And he's also on the roster with two capes and a guy who has a weaponized helmet. Out of all of those guests, Ghostface feels the weakest of the bunch, I guess. But he does have a movie coming out, so he being here makes the perfect amount of sense for me, because, well, he does have a movie coming out relatively soon. So him being promoted here makes perfect sense. We haven't seen this guy over here in over 30 years. He hasn't come back in over 30 years. Wait, 1992? Hold on, 1992, 2002, 2012, 2022. 40 years! It's been 40 years since we last saw the T-1000. Why wasn't he in Mortal Kombat 11? And I get it, the liquid metal thing is going to be super fantastic and cool, but need I remind you people, this guy hasn't been relevant in 40 plus years. Conan is more relevant than the T-1000. Conan! That's largely thanks to the comics, which, again, makes him a very well-fitting character for Mortal Kombat 1 in particular. But why the T-1000? Again, without the T-800, or without Sarah Connor, or, hell, John Connor, anybody! This guy just sticks out like a sore thumb. And you know what? I'm just going to go do it right now. No, not this. Let's see, 80s. Advertising firm. Guest characters. MK11. Ads. I'm trying to find... There was an article that was released several years, right around Mortal Kombat 11's release, that talked about how a firm was looking to promote 80s characters. Promoting 80s characters in... I'm gonna find this. Tedium, thing, Sega... No, this is all talking about a brief history. I'm looking for the article? Video game advertisements. In games, World of Warships. Because I remember that was part of that. Using gaming characters as marketing materials. Game characters and advertising. Where is that? I swear it was a thing. I'm going to try and find it later. Sorry for cutting it short there, for a second. But there is an advertising firm that talked about how they were looking to revive 80s properties for a newer generation. They were doing it with Mortal Kombat 11. They were doing it with World of Warships. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there was an Escape to New York crossover in a game at one point. So, this right here, these two in particular, Conan, I'm going to say to an equal degree, even though I personally much prefer him, these two are the symptoms of a much bigger problem. For those of you grifters who think that Sweet Baby Inc. is the devil for being a consulting firm for diversity inclusion for games, you really, really should be looking at the real problem. The consulting firms that are using their skills for money, like the ones that are looking to revive 40 to 50-year-old properties for a new generation. And again, this is something they've been doing for years. And this is the reason why we have the Team 1000 and Conan. Ghostface has a new movie coming out, so he's fine. But these two are almost certainly in here in this specific form. I don't know what the cat's doing, but these two are here specifically because there are companies that have these old properties sitting there not doing anything, that they're trying to get interest in to fund new projects for these characters, to use these characters to get money off of them. These two are literally here as a marketing scheme. It is as naked as Conan's chest. And it's the same thing with The Terminator. It's the same thing with RoboCop. I mean, Ash Williams couldn't make it, so RoboCop is their replacement. I think now that's less of a desperation move and more of a, psst, hey, we'll give you extra money if you promote RoboCop. You know what I mean? In order to try and revive him. And this is what frustrates me about this roster in particular. You have two completely irrelevant, completely random, irrelevant changes for iconic characters for reasons, I guess. When you could have had Frost and maybe a new character in here, or maybe Frost and a female Triborg. I don't know, just food for thought, maybe. Then you have two blatant attempts to revive old properties, to make some crotchety old rich white guys happy. And then you have the two that people are actually looking for. I've actually seen quite a few people excited for Ghostface, and the hype for Noob is through the roof. That was almost a tongue twister. But at the end of the day, like, 1/3 of this combat pack is actually exciting for people. 1/3 of it is making fans of female characters and upset. And like, me personally, I don't care. I'm just glad the Borgs are back. Like, I personally don't care about the change, but the reasoning is dumb, you know? Because why do this? If you wanted Cyrax and Sector in the game, bring it the fuck on. Make them chicks? Sure. But did you really look at Frost, at a character like Frost, a character desperately in need of a proper presence? Her appearance in Mortal Kombat 11, while I personally loved, did not go well with Frost fans. So this was an opportunity to bring Frost into the fold, to make her a properly playable character so that Frost fans will have something other than her being a cameo. And instead, this feels like they just looked at Frost, tossed her aside, and made the condiments female so they didn't have to include her. Maybe this is wrong, but I don't know. This is just what it feels like after looking at this and talking about it for a while. And then, of course, you have the blatant 80s ads, which, I mean, guest characters are ads. There's no shaking that. But T1000 in particular, seriously, this is who you're choosing to promote for the 80s? not what is it? Snake Plissken from yeah, I think it's is it Plissken? Snake Plissken from Escape from New York? He would have been fun. What about Rocky Balboa? You know, if you're going to do an 80s character, bring in a boxer. Mortal Kombat has never had a boxer, and what fun would that be to riff on Balrog? Think, people! That's, I think, what the ultimate problem is. This pack is very uninspired. These are cash-ins. These are just gender swaps of classic characters. And these two, and here's a fan favorite, and here's a recent promotion. This does not feel very inspired, and that's why people like me are varying degrees of upset. I'm still going to get this pack because I do like Conan. I am excited for Noob Saibot, and personally, I'm not as fussed about the Borgs as others. Although as I've been trying to point out, I fully understand the frustration. This guy could go kick rocks, and Ghostface fans I'm happy for. So I personally don't mind getting this pack, but if you personally don't want to get this pack, I don't blame you. And if you want to take it to NetherRealm, go right ahead. This is just me getting my initial thoughts out there before a video comes out for this thing. So don't forget to be awesome, my friends, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Sorry for the warbly, I'm not even going to edit this, so bye!